How's it going, guys? I'm making this video because I got a comment on one of my videos about having some gas issues with these little Weber Qs. So we're going to go ahead and troubleshoot these. Today I'm using the Weber 2200. I actually don't have any gas issues, so I'm going to do my best I can to explain it. So what we're going to do here is, before we even get started, is we want to make sure our propane is completely connected and tight. If you have it connected and it's a full propane, you got to start off with the full propane to troubleshoot. So what you'll do is make sure you get a full propane, you connect it, and when you go to light it and you have a very little flame or only half of it's lit, typically when I had issues in the past, this section here would have a nice little flame and then none over here. Well, there's a few problems that can cause that, and we're going to go ahead and troubleshoot those. So step one, make sure you have a full propane tank. What we're going to do is we'll light it. I'm not going to light it because I'm going to be touching this and I don't want it to be hot in the video. So you're going to light it. If you light it and you're still having flame issues with the new tank, what we're going to do is we're going to reset this regulator, and by doing that we're going to take these little propanes off here. Okay, well, there we go. Okay, once we take the propane off, we're going to relieve the pressure in this regulator. So we are going to turn it on. And when we turn it on, we don't need no spark, no nothing, because no propane. We're leaving the pressure in this regulator. So once we get that going, and we've left it on for, I don't know, a minute or so, not even that, we're going to shut it back off. We're going to grab our propane again and make sure we thread it back on. We're trying to do all this with one hand, so give me 1 second. Make sure you don't cross thread this. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, now that we got that on tight. Alright, now that it's on tight, we're going to turn our gas on and hit our ignition, and we should, I'm going to turn that off, but we should have a nice flame all the way through. If that doesn't work, it's more than likely you got a dirty tube. So to clean this, we are going to grab one of these wire brushes here and just go through and scrape the tube here. So get a nice little scrape. And try cleaning off these holes that you see here. It's just easier to scrape this while it's on. Okay, once we get it scraped off, this is what I'd like to do is I like to take this nut off and pull it out, because when you scrape it and clean it, you're feeling gunk all inside, you know. And I like to get that taken off. And this is for the harder to reach places. Just take a little paper clip and bend it like that and just stick it in these holes, and on the ones you think that are plugged, and just kind of wiggle it through. And when you do that, you're gonna get gunk inside. So what I like to do, this isn't necessary, but what I do is I take the gas tube out. And by doing that, there's only one little screw here in the Weber. Sorry, guys. Okay. Alright. Okay, now that we got this out, we're going to lift this gas tube right out. There we go. We got it out. And if you want, you can give it a nice little scrape as well on the ground, but like I said, it's easier while it's in the grill. And you're just going to tap it on something, clear all that gunk out. And what I like to do is I go to the water or to a hose. Let me stop this video and let me go to a water fountain real quick. It's easier with the hose, but I don't feel like getting the hose out. So what we're going to do is we grab our gas pipe here, and I'm just going to shove it in here. And just be careful not to get yourself too wet. And we're going to just clear it out. And you can see the water running through these holes here. And typically when you have a hose and you have more pressure, you're going to see water coming out through every one of these holes. But since I don't feel like getting my hose out, this was gonna have to do. So oh man, we'll turn it off here. We're gonna shake the water out here, and that's pretty much how you clean the tube. You're gonna want to let this dry before you stick this back in. So I recommend just kind of leaning it up against something and letting it dry out. And once it's completely dry, we'll reinstall it. So let me get back and let me dry this up, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, we're back. I got my nice clean dry gas tube, so what we're going to do is we're going to reinstall it. So we want to make sure this is lined up here, and we are going to stick this part of the tube through this hole, and you're going to see this little nipple here. We're going to make sure this tube goes over the nipple. So we'll turn it sideways like so and get it through, stick it on, and we're just going to line these holes up here. Shove our screw back in and tighten this down. There is no setting or gap or anything that you have to worry about. There's very little play, so as long as you're not cross-threading this nut or this screw, I'm just going to screw it down here. Okay, you want it tight, but you don't want it too tight. And to be honest with you guys, if you guys are going through all this work, you might as well take a scraper and scrape the inside while the tube's off and get it nice and clean. So I apologize for the noise here. Okay, and now we got a nice clean tube. Next step is to light it, and I am not going to light it. And actually I just let it, you're going to see a nice, it's hard, I don't think it's showing up on camera, but a nice flame throughout. This should solve any of you guys' problems. And if you have a clean tube and it's still not lighting or anything, I strongly recommend is doing what step one was, is try resetting the regulator one more time by taking the tube off, taking the propane tank off, opening it in. Just follow the steps like I mentioned earlier, and it should work. If that doesn't work, you got a bad regulator and you need to call Weber, and they'll send you out a brand new one. So I hope this video helps you guys out. If you guys have any other questions or concerns or need me to make a different video, let me know. Thank you.